Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, Kanishka and I are super excited to film our recap video covering the 2018 Canadian National Figure Skating Championships. If you did not get a chance to watch the preview video we made about a month ago, go ahead and check that out. I'll link it somewhere on the screen and you can see how on or off we were. Now, Kanishka, I want to start this video off on a high note and start by discussing the discipline I am most excited about, plus the discipline where we were most accurate with our predictions, which is ladies. What do you say?
Sounds good, and I think that it's most fitting that you start this off because your girl ended up winning. So go for it.
I'm so proud of my girl, Gabrielle Daleman. Oh, I don't know where to begin. Let's just say that I am super proud when a skater wins a competition by skating completely clean or very close to completely clean. Because that's not always something you see with the current judging system. It's all about who racks up the points, and you can still rack up points with falls and under rotations. But Gabby delivered two very special and amazing performances at these national championships. That short program with the new costume, the hair, and the makeup all worked for me. I think that was the best short program she's skated all season long. And then that free program, going back to Rhapsody in Blue, just brought out something magical in her skating. Despite being diagnosed with pneumonia the day before nationals began, she is such a tough, strong, powerful skater. It means the world to me as one of her biggest fans that she's going into the Olympic Games as the reigning Canadian national champion, and she was able to do it with Kaitlyn Osmond competing as well. Did you like her performances here? You better say yes.
I did, yeah. So Gabby Daleman really impressed me this week. Not only did she have pneumonia and was not even sure how well she could compete, but to deliver two strong performances like she did here was impressive, especially as we look forward to the Olympic Games. And as you stated, Justin, like going to the Olympics as the reigning Canadian national champion will probably be a confidence boost for her, especially after the performances that she had this fall during the Grand Prix season.
That's right. And you know what? Some people were tweeting me this weekend saying that, so Justin, in the preview video, you said that you thought Gabby was going to win nationals, and I didn't believe you, but now I see that you may actually be right. And here's the thing, I'd like to think that I'm very realistic with my expectations. Just because I love Gabby Daleman and Ashley Wagner doesn't mean I think they're going to win everything. And I haven't always predicted that Gabby would win every single Canadian national championships. But I just have this feeling about Kaitlyn Osmond, we will discuss in a bit, that she's just not getting as confident as the season goes on, whereas Gabby is a fighter. So I just had a special feeling about these championships in Vancouver. But kudos to her. I don't know what else to say. Happy birthday, Gabby. What an amazing birthday present to be 20 and going to your second Olympic Games. I mean, she's living the dream life of any athlete, really.
And a big shout out to the mom. Like, she was very
Rhonda.
ecstatic. Yeah, she was very ecstatic after that free program from Gabby, and you could tell, like, I think the cameras actually zoomed in on the parents. So what a great moment for her, and also for, obviously, for the daughter. And looking forward to seeing how she competes at the Olympic Games. This is her second time around, so she kind of knows everything that goes along with the Olympic Games. So, and hopefully this pneumonia is under
She was
control as well.
injured the last time she skated at the Olympics, so she didn't perform as well. Granted, she was also newer on the scene. Also, we did not see a quad toe attempt, which is fine. She didn't need it. Kaitlyn was not on her A game. And you know what? People keep saying that Gabby really needs more difficult jump content. I will agree with that, but I also gotta say, if she does the elements that she has now and she skates consistently and keeps improving the other parts of her skating, she may not need it with the PCS boost she'll receive over time from the judges. Just saying.
I agree with that.
I mean, don't switch to a Lutz toe in the short just because you want the added base value. I mean, getting a +3 GOE from all judges on that triple toe is still a great feat to have on your protocols.
Yeah, I'm not trying to compare her to Carolina Costner, but Carolina Costner doesn't really do too difficult of combinations herself, even though I think that she's planning on putting in the triple flip, triple toe for the Olympic Games. But right now, whatever Gabby's doing is working for her, and when she's on, the judges will go up on the grades of execution, whether it's a triple toe combination, or whatever other combinations she can possibly do in the short program. Um, so kudos again to Gabrielle Daleman for delivering two great performances here, and all the best to her as she heads into the Olympic Games in February.
Yay! So now moving on to Kaitlyn Osmond. Second place here. Made some mistakes. That triple flip was not her friend. This competition fell on it in the short. Same thing in the long. Popped some other jumps. Let's see here. Kaitlyn did not skate well. I think she was still gifted by the judges with high PCS marks.
Agreed. I think that even in our preview video, I did say that Kaitlyn Osmond was probably going to be making some mistakes here and there. Again, I think that she's mentally preparing herself more for the Olympic Games than anything else. However, I think it was important for her to skate pretty well here, and unfortunately, that did not happen. And I know a lot of people are starting to lose hope in her, or just calling her like the whole like Chenflation happened. I think now they're thinking that Caitlynflation, people are talking about that now, unfortunately. But hopefully she can like screw the skeptics that are saying like she's just being gifted with all these program components and delivers the performances that we know she can. Because I was rewatching some of her performances back from 2012 when she first came on the
those
senior
were
scene.
good.
Those were good. So hopefully it's a good sign that I'm actually watching these old programs, because sometimes YouTube just recommends videos to me, and it was recommending me go back and watch Kaitlyn Osmond from 2012. So if Kaitlyn can get those jumps back to where they were even last year, then I expect her to do well at the Olympic Games and perhaps even garner a medal. But at this point, it looks like it's a difficult possibility because of what's happening in Europe, and also just the fact that she lost to her teammate here, Gabby Daleman.
So I'm not going to lie. I don't think Kaitlyn has a bright future ahead of her this season. I don't know why. It just seems like her performance quality this season is going on a downward spiral. I mean, the long program is getting like less and less consistent, unfortunately. And Kaitlyn, she usually makes her money by skating completely clean in the short program. She lost that big time here this competition.
Do
So
you think it's the program?
No, I think it's her mental game. And listening to Kaitlyn Osmond's interview after the competition, it sounds like she's not really aware of what's the issue. She just told one of the reporters that she is going to go home and do repetition after repetition, train the elements, and make sure that they're performed cleanly in practice every day. I I actually think she needs some mental training. I think a lot of this pressure this season heading into the Olympics is getting to her because there's a new kind of pressure for her now than there was back in the 2012 2013 season. And I think that's where she needs to improve her competitive streak with.
Yeah, hopefully she can pick it up back in, well, this month is almost over, so she has about like 3 weeks heading into the Olympic Games to figure whatever is not working and figure that out, because the name of the game is like the Olympic Games and it's right around the corner. So
Yeah, speaking of the Olympic Games, both of the girls we just mentioned were named to the team, obviously. Who was a bit of a surprise was the woman who won the bronze medal here, Larkin Osman. Congratulations to her for also booking a ticket to the Olympic Games in South Korea. What a fantastic moment for her. You know, not the greatest skater to ever come out of Canada. Not the most impressive arsenal of jumps that she has, but hey, she did her job. She had a moment in that free program here at Canadian Nationals.
Yeah, I think a few months back, I was actually like, we were discussing it over Skype, I think, Justin. Like, I said, I really like Larkin because of her look. Like, she actually looks very striking on the ice. However, her technical abilities, as far as jumps went, were not really up there. And Larkin definitely earned that spot for the Olympic team. We will discuss Elaine Chartrand a little bit later, but Elaine had a shot to redeem herself, especially after that poor Grand Prix season, and she was not able to deliver here. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, why didn't they not send Elaine Chartrand? She has a better body of work." However, this season she was pretty awful. Like I have to say, like pretty girl.
Nice girl.
However, nice girl. Way too tense. I think that she tightens up when the time counts. And Larkin pretty much earned her spot here by placing third in the free program and third overall. So I'm happy for her. I don't expect her to do that well at the Olympic Games, but hopefully she'll be able to prove me wrong. But the last time I saw her was at the Grand Prix of Canada, I believe, and she did not perform well there. So good luck to you, Larkin, and hope you make Canada proud and enjoy the rest of the Olympic experience. So
Yeah, it's all about the experience for Larkin. Let's see. My take on the body of work piece of the Olympic Selection Committee, because there is one, is that the body of work argument only applies if your success in international competition was in the past year, maybe in the past two. I will say Elaine Chartrand has not been impressive the past 2 years. Like when she won the bronze medals at the Grand Prix in Russia, that was a while ago. She didn't even compete at the World Championships
yeah, and she
last
didn't
year.
perform to her abilities. So
No, her short programs have been pretty disastrous. No, so the body of work argument does not apply to Elaine Chartrand at all. And you know what? The result of the third Canadian lady at the Olympics doesn't make that much of a difference. So I say, Canada, just be nice and grant a girl an Olympic dream. And that's what they did with Larkin. I am all for it. And you
yay
know,
for
Larkin,
Larkin.
Larkin actually has some amazing programs. Very unique and very fitting to her personality and her physique.
Yeah, like she sells her programs very
Yeah,
well,
she has
and
a
like
very theatrical look to her, and so I think it's perfectly fine that she chooses some theatrical pieces to skate to. It's very nice to see.
yeah, I hope that the triple flip works for her at the Olympic Games because that was like the key jump here in the Canadian Nationals that she actually had that triple flip in her program because I know that's like the one of the more difficult jumps that she does.
Yeah,
So hopefully that jump stays with her as she heads to South Korea.
I actually think the key to her will be qualifying for the long program. So in that case, do the jumps that are most secure for her in the short, which I think is the triple toe, which hasn't been perfect all season. So
Yeah,
work on that, and then do what you want for the free program.
yeah, that works for me.
Okay, so let's talk about Elaine Chartrand. Made a big jump. She was in ninth
Hmm.
after the short program, moved up to fourth in the long, but it just was not enough. I couldn't find her long program skate on YouTube. I think it's blocked, but I did see her short program live. I saw the results. Ooh, the girl cannot catch a break. I feel so bad. She probably herself even expected to make the Olympic team when Kaitlyn and Gabby earned third spot for Canada last year at Worlds. Ugh, so heartbreaking for her, really.
Yeah, prior to the Canadian Nationals, I think a lot of us probably thought Elaine Chartrand is a sure third for the Olympic team. However, her performances kind of speak for themselves. Like she, as I said earlier, she had that opportunity to redeem herself by skating to the best of her abilities here. However, it seems like the pressure got to her, or she's has an injury that we are not aware of, and skated so poorly in the short program, placing ninth. Good
Well,
for
you know
her for
what's
coming
funny?
back. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that there were reports that were saying that Elaine Chartrand was near perfect during practice and warm up.
So that means that the mental preparation is not there. But that's something that I could have told you a few years back too. Like she always looks scared by the time that she actually has to skate her program. Um, and as a athlete, you kind of need to be able to rise above that. So she has a lot of potential. Even within her program, she has potential. However, it seems like she mentally psychs herself out. And hopefully, the fact that she did not make this Olympic team will give her the I don't know word I'm trying to use, but hopefully it gives her the awareness. That's probably the word I'm trying to use.
Yeah,
That's whatever she's saying to herself before she takes the ice is not working. So a sports psychologist might be a good thing for her if she doesn't already have one.
yeah. Sorry to bounce around, but I want to bounce off that point you just made about going out there and having that look of fear in your eyes before you perform. The winner here, Gabby Daleman, had no look of nerves whatsoever on in her eyes in the short or in the long. And did you notice that Kaitlyn Osmond looked pretty nervous before her short program, right after Gabby skated?
Yeah, I did notice that, and that's very surprising considering that Kaitlyn Osmond was probably the favorite going
She
into
didn't need
the
to be
Canadian Nationals.
nervous.
Yeah, so not sure exactly why they get nervous, but again, the ice is slippery, as Scott
Yeah,
Hamilton always says. So, but for some reason, Elaine always looks scared. Like so,
that's what I was leading to. Is Elaine kind of always has that look. And if you'll notice with Elaine, she's starting to get heavily lowballed on PCS from the judges internationally and by Canadian judges as well.
yeah, that's not great at all for her because she was that anointed third spot, and then all of a sudden she just let it all go away. Um, People can make jokes aside, like oh, she probably should have bought her little dress already heading into the Olympic Games for the I don't know the ball or whatever, but Larkin earned her spot. Elaine did not. But Elaine is going to Fort Continents in a few weeks, so hopefully she figures out the kinks and skates some great programs there. And yeah, hopefully she'll be strong next season because it'll be another full Olympic cycle starting again next year. So
That's true. Fifth place finisher here at Canadian Nationals was my future girl, potentially, Aurora Kotop. Horrible short program. My gosh, the jumps were not there for her that night, but she bounced back heavily in the free program to finish fifth overall, and she was named to the Junior World team. Hopefully, she does a lot better than she did last year. Any other lady you want to talk about? Michelle Long was
Michelle Long
beautiful.
was comeback, right? She was making a comeback.
Yeah,
Um, Short program was great. That's what I heard. I didn't get to watch all the programs, unfortunately, but I heard that the short program is great. The free program is not that great, and she dropped quite a bit in the standings. Um, Sad, but I always admire someone that makes a comeback of any kind. Yeah, I think those are my final thoughts. Like, it'll be interesting to see who continues on as far as the ladies in Canada goes. Like, would Kaitlyn Osmond retire if she gets a medal at the Olympic Games? Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly what ends up happening with the Canadian women's team after the Olympic Games.
yeah, I don't foresee any of the top ladies retiring. Because here's the interesting thing about Canada is that there are quite a few really great skaters, but there's not a lot of depth within each discipline. And what I mean by that is that you could tell by looking at the scores, the short program, Gabby Daleman had 77, Caitlin had 70. And then
One.
the next, yeah, 71. Then the next drop down was like in the 50s, like not even in the 60s. So Canada has to work on how to get the girls who are down below caught up. So then when the top ladies retire, these girls are ready to take over their spot. that's a problem they're going to have to figure out. But so far, they have top contenders in the world, which is great. Are you ready to move on to the next discipline?
Sure.
I'll let you choose. Which one do you want to discuss?
Men? Let's stick with the singles first.
Sure,
So,
men's. So Patrick Chan won his, I think, record 10th title.
10th title, yep.
Whoa, that is quite the record to have in this day and age. I'm so happy for him. Such an emotional skate for him. I think because he knew it was his last national championships that he was going to be competing at. Was not perfect. It was good to see the quad attempts. They were not great, but with Patrick Chan, it's all about the skating skills, how he just floats over the ice, the beautiful glides of his blade. What was also great about Patrick Chan this weekend at the Canadian National Championships was that you got to see him smile during his performances.
Yeah, I first took notice of Patrick back in 2007 trophy. Well, they have so many different names for those, but the one in France. I'm going to say Trophy de France because that's what it is currently. It's amazing to see how many seasons he's actually competed in the Senior Grand Prix. And unfortunately, he was the anointed one even back in 2010 at Vancouver for Olympic gold. And then obviously in Sochi, it seems like he's kind of past his prime right now, but he has two exquisite programs, which I'm not sure how he will be able to deliver at the Olympic Games, but at least he's doing two programs that he loves. Love his free program to Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley. And I think that if he can skate two great performances, he'll still be up there as far as contending for a medal. But when you're looking at who is contending for an Olympic gold medal, like a Nathan Chen or a Shoma Uno or even Yuzu Hanyu, it's just going to be more difficult, especially when you only have two quads in your arsenal, and they're usually just the quad toe, and he's just revamping his technique for the quad salchow. So I hope he just skates for the fun of it at this point. And I think that he even said that his priority is helping Canada get the team gold medal. So best wishes to Patrick at the Olympic Games, but I don't really think of him as a true contender for a gold medal.
That's a very realistic goal for Patrick Chan to set. So glad to hear him say that. Canada is going to miss him when he's gone.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the field, let's just say we were off in our predictions. We thought it was going to be Nicholas Nadeau, which, don't get me wrong, he totally had it in him to place second here. But congrats to Keegan Messing. By the way, none of the other guys skated perfectly clean. Let's put that out there. But Keegan Messing came out on top, I think because of his performance quality. Like, all this talk about how the IJS takes away, like, individuality in the sport. While that may be true, I like to think of it as this way, Kanishka. I like to say it makes it more difficult to showcase your individuality and personality, which Keegan Messing just pushes through, that barrier and still, like, reaches out to the audience and, like, makes it feel like we're watching an exhibition while he's doing these spins, footworks, and jumps. Did two quad attempts. First quad toe was not successful. The second one was great, and he actually had a lot of good jumping passes here. I'm really proud of Keegan Messing. Also, I think this is a really good season for him. He's had 2 Grand Prix assignments, but hey, his season could be on an upward trajectory. So kudos to him for going to the Olympics. I bet he's so excited.
Yeah, Keegan Messing used to represent the United States for quite some time. I know he skated, well, I think he's still coached by, what's his name?
I only know the face. I never remembered his name.
He was a single skater back in the 80s. Ralph Berghardt.
Okay.
Quote me on that, people. And he used to train out in Alaska. I'm not sure where he trains now, but
I think he's still in Alaska.
He's still in Alaska. So it's kind of nice to see someone who kind of like took that risk also, like from representing the United States to representing Canada to finally make that Olympic team. He's always had like character-driven programs, so I'm not surprised that he actually can project outwards to the audience. That seems to be his style of skating that he wants to own and keep performing like. This entire competition, though, like for the men's, was all over the place. As you can see, like Nicholas Nadeau was like ninth overall. But that is not to take away from what Keegan was able to do here, and I'm sure he's very ecstatic to head over to the Olympic Games now. So
Yeah, the main difference I've seen in Keegan over the past few years is that there's more refinement in his skating while being an entertainer. I like to think of it as a refined slash more polished Ryan Bradley. Because Ryan Bradley is like an entertainer, but whoa, he could be off balance and look crazy. Whereas like I think of Keegan Messing as having more control over his blade. It may help that he's a lot shorter than Ryan Bradley, but still, it's always great to see Keegan grow. And those
definitely.
two are part of the Olympic team. Let's talk about the others. Who came close was Nam Nguyen in third place, just about 2 points behind Keegan Messing overall. A lot of people weren't sure if Nam would be named to the team or not because Nam was actually pretty impressive here at Nationals by landing many quads. I think he had like the free program of his life at Nationals. But as Tracy Wilson would like to say, he can lose some quality points because he's still kind of a slow skater. Hasn't really developed strength in his legs, I don't believe, which means that he hasn't really furthered his development with his skating skills. I don't see a lot of improvement in his edges. Spins still need some work, but boy, when he lands the quads, he is one impressive kid.
Yeah, Nam Nguyen actually definitely redeemed himself in the free program. Like, it actually looked like he was actually skating better than a lot of the other men that were here in the free program. He actually went back to his La Strada free program that he used back in 2015,
That's
where
right.
everyone took notice of him because he was always featured in the little green room. I remember that. I don't know. That's one of my faint memories from 2015 Worlds was the fact that he was always featured. Um, this was actually the best I've seen him skate in such a long time. I know he's struggled quite a bit over the seasons. Despite not going to the Olympic Games, I think that this should still be a confidence boost for him, and hopefully he goes into those Four Continents Championships because I believe he was selected for the Four Continents, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And skates lights out there and gets on the podium because he's kind of in that little part of the game where you kind of need to at least make a name for yourself for the start of the next Olympic cycle. And I think that if you're not going to the Olympic Games, it starts at Four Continents.
I would agree. And do you want to talk about the man who finished in fourth here, Elaj Balde? Also an
I love him.
entertainer, a crowd favorite.
Yeah, like I think I was like really nervous to watch the short program, but when he got through all the jump elements, like he really sold that program to the max. And surprisingly, he has never won a medal at the Canadian National Championships, and I think the commentators said that several times throughout both of his programs. And even though he placed fourth here again out of the medals, I think it was a great way to end his season. I know that there was talk of retirement from him, but hopefully by placing fourth here and skating really well for himself, he might stick around just for one more season because he's such an entertainer. And when those jumps are on, he'll definitely be a contender. If not, I'll definitely miss him. I'm sure the world will miss him. Like he's one of those rare skaters that you can finish in 11th at a Grand Prix, but they'll still invite him for the gala because he's so entertaining and fun to watch. Not to like go off of what the CBC or TSN commentators were saying, but they were doing like this whole farewell piece for a lot of skaters. And yeah, so it seems like a lot of Canadian greats are going to be retiring after this season. So I'm mentally preparing myself.
Oh,
But I love Elarge Balde and his skating, and thank you for all the great memories.
he's just overall a great personality. Like on and off the ice, you could tell he has great sportsmanship, always being really friendly with the other athletes. That's so refreshing to see in a competitive sport.
Definitely.
Okay, we can also talk about Kevin Reynolds, who finished fifth here. Ooh, Kevin attempted many quads. I think they were mostly failed attempts. I think in the free program he attempted four, only one he stood up on, or
What's the
one
last one?
seemed cleaned. Yeah, the other ones looked quite under rotated. They were either downgraded or under rotated. The jumps were not on his side. It wasn't disastrous because he wasn't falling all over the place, but it was just far from clean. He didn't have it. I love the new hair, the updated hairdo, gotta say, but no, he did not do enough in the short and the long. I'm pretty sure he wanted to make the Olympic team. Maybe that idea, the pressure on himself, was lingering over his mind. It was just not happening in Vancouver for him.
Yeah, and he's also one of those skaters that has announced that he will be retiring after this season, I believe.
Mm.
So, not the way that he probably wanted to end his career, but the possibility of making an Olympic team was probably within his grasp. However, it was just not meant to be. So sad.
Yeah. Are there any other men you want to talk about?
There are like a lot of great Canadian skaters that are coming up. I think that this event was far from perfect for any of them. So hopefully they can still push themselves technically because this is that I don't think that program components are going to be as heavily weighted at this point in men's skating. I felt bad for Liam Ferris in the short, like having deja vu happening with some kind of like skate
Yeah, costume
issue.
malfunction. Ugh.
Yeah. So that was heartbreaking considering that this is his last event. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm impressed by Joseph Fan.
Tell me
Sixth
more
place
because
overall.
is he just coming from the junior like juniors
Yeah.
now? Okay.
Hmm.
So he actually plays fifth in the free. So maybe that's actually
Yeah, and he won the Skate Canada Challenge, which is the event prior to nationals, and he beat Nicholas Nadeau. So
and he beat
kudos to
Nicholas
him.
Nadeau again.
Yeah,
So
right.
uh,
So I expect great things from him in the future.
yeah, I'll be watching the Canadian men just very carefully because we'll see if we can ever get three spots back for Canada. Because I think when Patrick Chan and Kevin Reynolds were on their top, like their A game, they were able to qualify three spots pretty simply. But now we're only sending two, so hopefully there'll be some changing of the guards. Yet polishedness will get them three spots back for the men.
Yeah, let's hope
That's
one day
about it.
they get there again. Three spots for Canadian men.
Hopefully.
All right, so now time to discuss pairs. Kanishka, Megan, and Eric won their seventh national title, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. Seven titles in all.
Kudos to them. I like their short program. They had a moment there. The free program was not perfect, but hey, they went back to their crowd favorite. Is it Home Glory?
Hometown glory.
Hometown
Adele.
Glory free program. And you thought that was the right choice.
I did. I think that even prior to the season starting, I was like thinking, why did they go back to Muse when they actually should have gone back to Hometown Glory? Because in 2016 at the World Championships, they definitely brought down the house with that program. And you were actually in attendance to watch that
That
live.
was
So,
amazing.
and this is coming from a person who's not a huge fan
That's
of Megan
correct.
and Eric, right?
That's correct. And I
So,
still gave them a standing ovation at 2016 Worlds.
yes, these programs were not skated to perfection here, but I do hope by the time that they land on the arena in South Korea, they are able to skate these programs cleanly because I think they're Canadians' best shot for a medal in the pairs event. And it'll be a great way to like send off, like it'll be a great send off for their careers if they just get an Olympic medal.
Yeah, so if those who are not familiar in the team event at the Olympics, apparently only two disciplines or up to two disciplines can be switched out by other teammates. So I'm proposing this for Canada. Megan and
Mm.
Eric do both the short and long for the pairs. Patrick does both the short and long for the men. Oh no, I think Tessa and Scott should do both the short and long for dance though. Crap. So I will say my girl Gabby Daleman has to be in the team event. Do not give Kaitlyn Osmond both. But you know what? There's some other strong pairs. So maybe, yeah, maybe they could switch it up. We'll talk about the other pairs later. But yeah, so that's something to consider. But Megan and Eric, what a proud moment to be qualifying for another Olympic Games for them.
Agreed. Yeah. Like I think that this is a great way to like end their careers as far as domestically goes, and then I guess the best way to end their careers internationally will be with that Olympic medal around their neck.
I will say though, even though they won, some other pair teams had more of a special moment
Hmm.
at these national championships. One example is Julian Seguin and Charlie Bilodeau. Oh my gosh, winning the silver medal! I did not predict this at all.
Yeah, I think one of my friends that I made at the U.S. Nationals, she was asking about pairs and the Canadians, and I was like, I'm not sure exactly how Canadian Nationals will go because Julianne Seguin and Charlie Bilodeau, they've been struggling internationally this entire season, and they've also been not getting the marks as far as in the last two seasons. So I would never have predicted Julianne and Charlie to win the silver medal here and make the Olympic team. However, as someone who's an actual fan of them, I'm
Me
glad to see
too.
that they are going to the Olympic Games because I remember when they first came along, Justin, I told you like I really liked how they like always smile and they enjoyed their time on the ice. And who knows, maybe this is like a resurgence for them, you know? Maybe this will be pushing them towards even something as next season being the next great Canadian pair team.
Yeah, you know what? They have not had it easy since entering the senior ranks. They've dealt with injuries, but I'm so amazed at how they're able to stay positive through it all, you know? They never give off the vibe that they're feeling down or never feel disappointed in themselves. Man, and when they deliver, oh my gosh, is it magic? I think I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't think I've talked about them in the video for a while. They do the perfect blend of like, it's like great chemistry. It's like romance, but not sexual, but also like a great connection, but not exactly friendship. I don't know. I love the connection they have between the two. It's very difficult to describe. It's almost like best friend romantic, if that makes any sense.
Sure, I'll agree with you on that.
Okay, because you got to admit, it's not sexual, it's not adult loving romance, but it's not platonic friendship connection. Okay, that's what I take away from their skating, and I love it. They're always smiling and positive. And hey,
There's something special.
yeah, they landed their side by side jumps, which was amazing.
Agreed. Yeah, they're a special team, and I expect them to do well.
So clearly, Kanishka and I are in different time zones now. West Coast and East Coast, I am losing all my natural lighting from the window. What can you do? Okay, who also had a special moment, Kanishka, was Kirsten Moore-Towers and Michael Marinero. Oh my gosh, did they bring the sparkle in that free program? Wow, I think Kirsten was even surprised herself. She was so emotional when they finished.
I think a lot of people have been writing them off. I know a lot of people always go back to the fact that Kirsten Moore Towers used to compete with then partner Dylan Moskovich, who's now skating with Lubov. And I don't know, it's almost like there's like a rivalry between the two of them. And it looked like initially it was going Dylan's way. I think someone on Twitter actually commented like Kirsten won the divorce because she gets to go to the Olympic Games. So I think maybe that's why she was a little bit emotional. The fact that like she earned her trip to the Olympic Games despite being left off the world team last year, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those, and then the emotions that go into an Olympic season are totally different from like any other season. So the fact that they skated lights out here at the Canadian Nationals and earned that berth on the Olympic team was probably just very emotional for her. But congratulations to them. And yeah, good luck in South Korea.
You know what I'm starting to realize is that skating is becoming very season based, which means your results from one season will absolutely not carry on to the next season.
Agreed, yeah. And
You
we're
know,
saying that with
so many changes can happen in all disciplines. Maybe not quite so much with dance, but with definitely the other three. So it's so weird to see it's like Kirsten Moore Towers and Michael Marinero. It's so interesting to see that they struggled for quite a few seasons, but my gosh, they gelled so well in Vancouver this weekend. It seemed like they had been skating together for a while now. So it's good to see that like that this new partnership finally is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Also because Kirsten Moore Towers has suffered through some injuries recently, like a concussion. By recently, I mean like last
wow.
season.
Wow. Well, just speaking of that in itself, I think I think maybe that's also one of the reasons why she probably was very emotional because she overcame such a big injury like that.
Yeah, and then we have Lubov and Dylan Moskovich. Very unfortunate for them, right?
Yeah, I think they were considered a worthy contender for that Olympic team. However, I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
So dance, no surprise at all. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer. Oh my gosh, wow, were they great? Received near perfect scores in both the short dance and the free dance. I think this is the best they've ever skated this season. Like the changes to Moulin Rouge, I'm a big fan of the updates that they made to the choreography. Oh my, oh my gosh, they just delivered as if nothing has been bothering them all season long, which is not the case because they seem to be nervous and on edge at some of their last few competitions. I'm just so happy for them. Ugh,
This,
and it's their last season. So
yeah,
what a way to end out your final championships.
this was definitely a great send off for the Olympic Games. I think that this has been a tough season for them, losing to the French twice, especially at that Grand Prix final. Must have been gutted, not winning that competition. However, they skated lights out here and were clearly in a league of their own. And yeah, I'm so happy for them. It's their final season. The music from Moulin Rouge, especially the track "Come What May," it always gets me emotional. I think Alexa and Chris also use it for their short this season, and they deliver that piece of music to Moulin Rouge to I don't know to a T. Like I think this is actually one of my favorite programs from them in quite some time. And yeah, I think they're going into the Olympic Games feeling confident. Those scores spoke for themselves, and
Skate
yeah, like
Canada was sending a message saying that this is one of the best dance teams ever produced, and they should be
in the
given the
world.
gold medal at the Olympic Games. So we shall see. I'm not gonna lie, all season long, well, since mid-season, I've been saying crap. Politically speaking, the momentum is going to the French. However, I don't know, the French were not perfect at their national championships, whereas Tessa and Scott were. I think it'll be interesting. I heard someone say that it's going to be down to the skate order, and whoever skates last will get the higher marks at the Olympic Games. We shall see.
But they go by season, right? Like the as far as like selection, they go based on your scores by the season, and that gives the edge to the French.
Maybe, yeah, it's by international ranking.
Yeah. So I don't
Mm,
know. We will see. We will soon see.
that is right. And then, surprise silver medalist here, Piper and Paul. Whoa, barely edged out the silver medal win here over Kaitlyn and Andrew by about a point overall. Key word here, twizzles.
Yes, I agree. Especially in the short dance, like I know Andrew made a mistake on a twizzle pass, and that really cost them quite a bit. They were actually fourth in the short dance, and was able to climb up all the way to third here overall. I think they were second in the free dance. I think they were really close actually to even Virtue and Moyer by 4 points because I think Tessa and Scott got 124, and then I think Caitlin and Andrew got 120. Not sure exactly what Piper and Paul got, but nonetheless, they hung on to that silver medal by the skin of their teeth. But happy for Piper and Paul. I know Piper has been going through a tough time. I think one of our friends said something about like the mom not feeling too well.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that she's still going strong and competing as well as she has all season, it's great to see. And I believe this is their first Olympics. I think
Yeah.
they should be happy with the silver. I think that's a confidence boost for them.
Yeah, I know our friend Nicole likes to give them a hard time, but Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poget,
I
you
like them.
know, so I don't always like them, but I will say they had a special moment in the free dance. Wow, was that like world medal quality?
I like
Oh
them.
my, the connection. It's like the results from the short dance didn't even phase them. Now let's talk about that short dance. Andrew Poget, those twizzles. You made such a costly error by falling in the early part that that was given 0 points, which allowed Piper and Paul to lead them by about 7 points after the short dance. Big mistake. And then in the free dance, Piper had a little slip up in the twizzles as well, which made them lose some levels. But I will say, Piper and Paul skating to a James Bond dance, I actually preferred it than the other free dance they originally had this season. I thought it was more exciting for them.
They're very they're crowd pleasers. Like I think that when they choose the right music, they can definitely entertain a crowd. I believe that last season they did like a Beatles number,
Hmm.
I think. And I think they're really crowd favorites in that sense. Like they can definitely draw in a crowd. Kaylin and Andrew are a little bit more, what do you call it? More of like a romantic pair. Like they can bring out the romantic side of ice dance very well. Like I like their free program from last season, and I'm really like starting to like their free dance this season. And they're working with Nikolai Morozov, the famous Russian ice dance coach, and I think that it's bringing new dimensions to their skating, and it'll be a shame if they do end up retiring after the season. So hopefully there are no talks of that on their part, because I would love to
You never
see.
know.
I know, especially with this Canadian team, it seems like at least one skater from each discipline is contemplating retirement. So I hope that they continue because I feel like they still have room to grow, and it'll be kind of great to see Piper and Paul and Caitlin and Andrew battle it out domestically, if not internationally as well.
Yeah. I also wanted to give a shout out to the dance team that finished in fourth place here. I'm going to butcher their names, so I'm going with first names only. Caroline and Shane Fierce. And I must say, I only watched their short dance because they were third after the short. That was an impressive short dance. I'm happy for them. I think they're the future dance team of Canada. Very, very exciting to watch. Did you get to see them at all?
I did not, but one thing that is interesting to note is that Shane is actually Liam Ferris's brother.
Oh, wow.
So I,
I didn't know
so I
that.
guess, so I guess skating runs in the family. That's what I heard. Because I think one of the commentators mentioned it during one of the dances. I'm not sure the short dance or the free dance, but I think they were so close, and like it probably went to their head that there's a possibility that they may make the Olympic team because they were actually third after the short dance because Andrew and Kaylin had that mistake on the twizzles. But a fourth place here is not something that they should be complaining about, especially because they're relatively kind of like new on the scene. I expect next season to be anything but fourth place. Like, if anything, they're going to
They
move
made
up
the
the
national
standings.
team, so they get to
They made the
compete.
national team.
Yeah, they get to compete internationally for Canada. So that's good for them.
So the national team is the top five, right?
That is correct. And Canada's works interestingly different from the United States. So the top five gets to represent Canada internationally the following season.
Ah, okay, got it. Yeah, definitely some of these people should consider sticking around. Like, they should not retire. They're on the national team for a reason, you know? Um, With the exception of maybe Virtue and Moore, they're probably ready to like hang up their skates and do shows. They want to win the Olympic Games, you know? Like, I think the reason why Tessa and Scott are actually sticking around is because they want to win that Olympic championship. Because when Meryl and Charlie won back in 2014, all the media attention and the tours, they gave priority to the Olympic champion. So I think that's why Virtue and Moore are probably sticking around, but that's just my thoughts. But yeah, kudos to them for placing fourth here, especially a strong fourth too. You know, it was
Hmm.
not a disaster by any means, and looking forward to them for next season where they can stir.
Absolutely. Okay, well, that ends our recap. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.